Yat ya Albert Brent Chase Yinashia. Wanaga ni Ainishla na Kai Bashishin Tobaha Dashe Ado and the na Toha the Netashe Nala Kut Ego A the Nas Twinishla. Hello, my name is Albert Brent Chase and I am of the Navajo Nation. Just like stories long ago told from my grandparents and elders, that first the holy beings, animal life, bird life, all wanted to know if it should be night all the time, if it should be day all the time. So there was a lot of talk and discussion among the holy ones and the air people, the mist people, and all the animal life, and wondering. And the nocturnal animals, of course, wanted all night all the time. The daytime animals wanted it day all the time. And so they said, we'll settle it through this game. And this game was played, all night. The nocturnal and the day people, when I say people, beings is what I mean, not us. They played and neither one could win. Neither one was able to win. And the sun and the night kept going. And so the sun began to come up, and so they had to disperse. All the nocturnals had to hide from the sun. The day beings, it was their time. And so it was never won, so it was kept that there will be day and night. And so I'm making these stories short. They're long stories, there's a lot of songs to it, and the games are now open. This is the season for what we call moccasin game. Today they call it shoe game, but it's moccasin game, appropriately. And so we play that today, and we honor that time and era when the nocturnal and the day beings had this game to try to decide. And so today we still play that to keep our traditions and stories going of why we honor day and why we honor night. And each has their own purposes. So time goes, the moon comes up and goes down, or whenever it shows itself, it shows itself. And so the sun too. And then there's another era in time when it was asked, should life last forever? Should we live forever? And should there be no death? And so there was another discussion of the holy beings. And Coyote says, I know what will be determining if it will be life all the time. And so he says, they come to a river. And at this river, the coyote picks a rock, a pebble, and he says, I'm going to drop this in this water. And if it floats back up to the top, we will live forever. If it doesn't come back up, then there will also be death. And so, of course, obviously, the coyote, although is a trickster, he's our number one teacher. He's been in all the events from time and eternity, and he drops the pebble. and the pebble, of course, sinks and never comes back. And that's when it was decided that there will be death. There will be life, and with life will be death. So, as time moves on, death became part of life. And so now, when our grandmother, the moon, Nihitsho, we call it, and that word cho means like an elder figure or a great-grandmother figure. So the moon represents that. And so now, when a moon becomes to the state of eclipse, she too must die. And then a renewal happens, and she comes back to being so that life continues. And that happens every so often, and some of us may see it in our life or hear of it, but our people would not go outside and have a moon party or an eclipse party as today's crazy world does. But they don't know better because it's not their tradition. But our tradition as Diné is when our moon dies, we sit in reverence in the midst of our hogan here. Only the light from the chimney will show somewhere on the walls of our hogan. And it's a very faded light. Until that light comes back, we know that our grandmother, the moon, has revived, renewed its life. So with everything outside, the nocturnal animals renew their being through this whole process of the eclipse of the moon, or we call it the death of the moon. Everything is renewed. We sit in prayer. We don't eat, we don't drink. We don't even swallow anything during that time. And we sit and sing certain songs pertaining to that, prayers pertaining to that. So that is the moon and how it reaches and dies and then comes back to life so that things may continue in its natural order as the holy people have set forth from the beginning. And same with now, we go to the sun, our Father the Sun. Our Father the Sun lives every day, and his sunbeams and sunlight show us the way. When we look outside, it's very clear what our path will be. It shows us our journey, and we follow its light, which is why we pray each morning and give an offering before he comes up, that when his light hits our being, that we will know that good road and we will follow it. And under his protection and under his life-giving rays. And so our Father looks after us each day and lives, and it's powerful, and it passes over us and sets to the west. And so we honor him. We say a prayer before he comes up. Then we say a prayer during the noontime. We say a prayer before he goes down. And then we say a prayer in the middle of the night, also thanking our Yah, meaning the sky, that he is his home. That's where he travels. And we give thanks to his hogan, like us here. This is our hogan, it's circular. And he travels in that circular motion. Now that's our Diné way. That's our belief. But in the modern way, we revolve around him. But how would we know? You know, these are studies that are made from year to year. But to us, from where we look on our Mother Earth, where we stay on our Mother Earth, we see our Father the Sun coming up and coming down. We see our grandparents, our grandmas, our elders, the moon shine upon us with its beautiful lumens and ray too, to soothe our souls while we sleep. So they're important. They're like gods. They're deities. They're holy people. They are our relationship. And so even the sun, the most powerful thing in our universe, must die too. Why? Because of that event that happened, that determined there will be life and death. Even the greatest powerful thing in our universe, our Father, the Sun, has to die. And so that's when we call upon today as the solar eclipse. And so the sun, we call it Johana E Daz. Our Father, the Sun, dies. And during that event, again, the same thing. We sit in reverence. During the day, in reverence of in our Hogan, and we pray and we sing songs during the time of his death. Because during the time of his death, he also has to go through that process and then renew itself and then begins its new journey for I don't know how many years. And so during that time, we do sit in reverence. We don't pray. We pray. We don't eat. We don't drink water. We don't make a lot of noise. It was reverence, teaching and being together with your family. Because during the death of our Father, the Sun, we're in a certain reverence as well as mourning for him. And we pray that when he comes back to be, he will continue to shine upon us and lead the way and have us see everything that surrounds us and the beauty. And during that time, as he's having his eclipse, we give thanks, we reflect on things that we went through, the grievances we had, the grieving process that we had. And so that's what advantages we can take during this time as reflection of how do you renew yourself as earth surface holy people that have relationship with your Father, the Sun. And you pray about it, you reflect upon it, you can teach about it during that time. And then from there too is that why you are asked not to look directly or be out and about during a solar eclipse is that it's the weakest time of the sun's power because it's indisposed of renewing or dying. And so during that time, Nayet, which are dangers and things can happen. And so you don't walk into the danger. You stay and retreat from it while it's out there. And so, you know, a pregnant woman can't be looking at it. A father even an uncle. You're a family linked to that child that's in the womb of that mother. And therefore, you cannot be out there because you have the line of to a child that's unborn. And so if you were an uncle or an aunt out there having an eclipse party, you will indirectly be hurting a child, and it can become part of, it can be dangerous. It can be a stillborn child. It can be a child that will be afflicted and ail from this in a certain way. So it's not just the mother that's got a child in her womb. It's a father as well as any family member that can bring about affliction to that child that's unborn. And so that was the reason why we were told, no, no, no. You have to stay out from that and not face the dangers that are there, because someone else that's unborn can be afflicted. So that was the seriousness of our people. And just a couple of days ago, I was looking at YouTube, and a Navajo family had cameras and taking pictures and actually seeing the sun die and seeing the ring, playing the Ring of Fire by Johnny Cash. I was like, wow, our people has really lost the way of our ancestors and the respect that they had for the natural order of things. That's where we're at. And so we, as cultural teachers, as medicine men out there, elders, they try to teach the best they can. But in this world that we live in now, don't really regard those things as sacred. And it's just a party. And, would we go to a relative's death and do a party? We would silently, reverently, and by only a few chosen people, take our relative to a place of burial where the rest of us stay back. That was how it was done. In the same way, in respect to the moon as well as the sun's death, is that we also respect and reach reverency. And then renewal. When we grieve, like I am in now, I lost several family members through this horrible era of COVID. I am going through it right now. I'm going through that period of longing for my family because they too have experienced death. And so, in a way, I hold my reverence and respect for them. Although they're not here with me now, I still carry on their essence. I still carry on their thoughts. And I'm now the living being of those that have passed, all the way into my ancestors. And that's what the sun does. It renews its spirit so that it can continue to show its power to us and to show its light to our journeys here in life. And so that's kind of what I understand, without really going into the traditional ceremonial respect to my people and medicine people. That's as close as I can get to share. I would even share that same type of story here with the children, because it's the obvious way to show and tell our young people this is why. And then as they become more in steep in their own tradition, now they can go to ceremonies to find out more about what we're doing. And so when a child is afflicted with the eclipse, if it be the moon or the sun, we have to have certain ceremonies on sand. And you know, the Navajo people, ika, meaning that they're coming. They're going to come, present themselves, and move out. We use the sun in that same manner, the moon in that same manner. It has its own design, its own sand painting that we use for people that are afflicted. And, you know, they sit right on it. When it's done, it's erased and then gently put somewhere out there. So that's how we respect in fixing some of our mistakes that we may make, or some of the no-nos. Some say taboo. I don't know, I can't define taboo because it's not my language, but I understand what they're trying to say. But for us, it's something you don't do. And if you do, the holy people have to fix it themselves in the presence of Mother Earth's many colors, sand painting. So that's how we survived from our affliction and getting better. You know, when we go through this grieving process, we have a particular ceremony where we blacken ourselves. And then we wash it off, representing that we've washed away our grieving, we've washed away something that we might have messed up on or that was afflicting us. We wash it away, and then we use a plant root to renew our body so that we can carry on. So there's a lot of beautiful, sensible things that our people, the Navajo people, still practice. And sometimes, just telling this, I might be told that, you know, just let the sacred be sacred. And which is why I'm careful not to go too far into this in respect for our religious beliefs. Yeah. And nor do we force or try to convert people to be on our side or on our tradition, you know. It's something that only the good spirit and the holy people can guide you to, not us. We just are the caretakers of the medicine and the songs, the ceremonies that we have little left of. And that's where we're at.